Hello everyone and welcome to another Operation Market Garden Shoutcast. Today we have one that I'm really excited about. It's a 3v3, it's on Forest, which is a map I have not shoutcasted yet, and it features some players we have not seen before in any of the other shoutcasts that I've done, which is noteworthy because we'll get to see some different play styles, and we'll also get to see some different levels of play. Most of the showcasts you've seen so far on my channel have featured some of the best players that OMG has to offer, and while we have some very, very good players in this game, we also have players from all kinds of skill levels. So we'll maybe get to see some of the wacky, wild, inventive, and unorthodox strategies that they bring to the table. And from what I've been able to gather in talking to the folks who submitted this replay, this is one that is definitely worth checking out. I don't know what that means. All I know is there is a lot to recommend it. So let's see if those folks are telling the truth or if they're just dirty liars. Anyway, let's get things started. We're gonna hit play and we're gonna start at the top of the map. So who do we have? Okay, we've got the axis up here. Start with Razor. He's running a Stug, an MG, pretty standard start. The only thing that I would say is a little bit unusual is he's starting with KCH, and he's starting with a Stug instead of a pack, but he's got two forms of AT, so he should be just fine. Gobbo Slayer has got an MG and a pack, and then a half-track. And I'm assuming there's infantry in there. Nice play from him. It's not a super familiar or common strategy, but using the half-track to get his infantry up into the middle of the map is probably a really smart one. We'll see what he's got inside. And then from Mr. Maff, a very standard, very safe, and very effective starting call-in of infantry, support weapons, and an LMG officer. What's nice about his infantry here is he's got some assault infantry, some Volksgrenadiers with MP40s, he's got some medium-long range infantry in terms of the Grens with the LMG, and backed up by an MG, a pack, and a mortar. He should be able to deal with most threats quite nicely. Over on the Allied side, we've got Flaky running what looks like an infantry company. Yeah, he's got ambush riflemen, he's got a mortar, he's got a pack, he's got lots of rifles, pretty standard fare. Then Zostrum also, maybe from the looks of things, running infantry. He certainly has brought a lot of infantry. Again, very standard MG, ATG, rifles. Great. And then Clone, also apparently running infantry, this time for sure because he's got rangers on. So the only one I'm not sure about is Zostrum, but from the looks of it, he's probably running a pretty standard infantry company. It looks like, oh, that's interesting. What Mr. Maff had in that half-track was Shrek Storms. Now, fortunately, they're just single Shrek Storms and not double Shrek Storms, so double Shrek Storms would cost about 300 munitions each, which is obviously something you do not want to lose or bring out this early in the game. Single Shrek Storms are still expensive. I think they're probably about 120, 150 each. So still a little bit risky to bring those on, but certainly not the same level of potential risk that 600 munitions would be. And looks like the first engagement's kind of happening over on the left-hand side here. Some nice hits on this Stug from Razor, which is definitely cool. If you're the Allies, you want to get that thing starting to take damage as quick as possible because it's kind of one of the main threats to your Sherman. And it feels kind of like Mr. Maff is getting to move in uncontested over here. An early med tent from Zostrum was maybe put a little too aggressively up, especially if he's going to be fighting on this side by himself. You know, his starting call-in of rifles, MG, ATG, while pretty standard and pretty safe, is really going to struggle against a call-in like the one Mr. Maff brought. with that said, Mr. Maff is kind of sitting in this house, allowing himself to get naded. He's already lost a Grenadier squad with LMGs. Yeah, I think he definitely got the better end of that trade. Meanwhile, over here, nice little push from Flaky. Looks like the Stug and the Sherman have met their end, and he's picked up a free MG for his troubles. And Mr. Maff is probably looking at his ally over here, Gobbo Slayer, and going, "Why are your Storm Shrek so far behind the enemy line?" Some nice bundles that Gobbo Slayer, who I think is Dr. Nick, got off, but you know, that's 300 munitions running around back here killing rifles, and while it's nice to kill rifles, I'd rather take my 300 munitions, and that doesn't even factor in bundle nade costs, and get them out while I can, because you are deep behind the enemy line and there's an MG moving up, so probably a good time to book it. Yeah, he's gonna run away this way. Yeah, nice, good hit and run. I think he will live to fight another day. Yeah, he should get away here. But yeah, so far I think the Axis have done a pretty decent job taking the crucial center of the map. It's definitely important on this map to hold that area as much as you can, because this building in particular has a high armor value. It is much sturdier than your average building, and in it you can control a wide area of the map. It also provides great shot blockers, so if you want to put mortars behind it, even closer than this one is, or you know, a healing tent or whatever, it's a great place for that. The allies are setting up healing probably a bit early. It's only, what is it, 5 minutes into the game. I would prefer if they were spending their time trying to push and prevent the Axis from getting too entrenched, but that might already be a lost cause. Wow, the Axis are looking pretty formidable in the middle right here. Oh, nice little off map here. Let's see what that can net. Oh, big hit on the stormtroopers. They're still alive though. This one's down to just a one-man squad. This one's down to 2. Again, that's expensive squads to have on this early. I'm not really sure what a bundle nade costs, but Shreks alone, as we've talked about, are 150, so, or something like that. So yeah, those are not cheap units. And while they have some kills, 8 and 6, you maybe hope to get a little more value out of your heavily upgraded squads than that, especially considering that they've mostly been killing riflemen, and unupgraded riflemen at that. But to the Axis's credit, they are kind of consolidating themselves. They're getting kind of organized here in the middle of the map. They don't have too much to worry about for the moment. They're starting to set up some bunkers, which, sure, why not? I'm not usually a huge fan of bunkers in OMG gameplay. They tend to kind of steadily drain your pop by locking up 1 or 2 of your pop cap for something that isn't super mobile. And so if the enemy team is being really focused at kind of harassing flanks or staying on the move, you now have 2 less pop worth of units that you can kind of adjust and move to fight them where they go. But maybe that's not going to be too much of an issue. Forest is one of the maps that is a little bit narrower, so maybe this kind of more defensive, campy style of gameplay will work here to a greater degree than we've seen in some of the other Shoutcasts I've done. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, back on the Allied front, not a whole lot going. They seem to kind of be a little bit hesitant. They are doing little raids and probes of the Axis line, but they're not really at the moment coordinating super aggressively. But they do have time. It's only 8.5 minutes into the game. They're probably just trying to feel out how many support weapons the Axis have on the field. Yeah, there's 2 mortars on. There's lots. Oh, maybe 3 mortars. Yeah, there's 3 Axis mortars. Holy shit, that's not going to be fun. Oh, and Flaky's brought on a sniper. Nice, he's got a little bit of AT behind that sniper, kind of to keep it safe. One thing that he doesn't want to do, and he's going to have to be really careful about this, is he does not want to keep his sniper near his own mortar. Because even if his sniper is cloaked and hasn't been seen in a while, the enemy has 3 mortars on. They're of course going to try and counter mortar. He's already taken a little bit of collateral damage there. He needs to be very, very careful here. So yeah, go get it healed up. ATG just sniped a KCH, that's always fun. You know, keep this thing for the long run. You've got a lot of support weapons on from the Axis. You're going to need this sniper. So if I'm Flaky right now, I'm thinking, hey, I've taken a little bit of damage from a mortar that maybe wasn't even aiming at me. 1, I need to be really careful about mortars. 2, I need to be really careful about what I stand next to, because those mortars could be targeting something that I'm near. And 3, I need to keep my sniper full health as much as possible, because even a full health sniper can sometimes run into a lot of trouble when there's mortar fire in the area. But certainly when it starts to get down to 75% HP. Sorry. Well, we'll stop talking about that sniper now. Okay. Don't stand next to an MG, and make sure that you're staying healed. Yeah. We don't need to hit that point anymore. Anyway, back to what the Axis are up to. They clearly are doing a good job to kind of consolidate their position here in the town. Still, those mortars are going to be a major issue. I wonder what kind of answer the Allies are going to have for them. The Axis mortars do outrange the Allied ones, so if you're Zostrum, you're going to have to kind of continuously be on the move. Same with Flaky. He's already lost a sniper to these things. Yeah, he's going to need to be extra cautious. Like that he's brought his mortar back to get healed up. That will increase the odds that should his mortar take 1 or 2 unlucky hits from something, it has a chance to survive. Maybe that would have saved his sniper. We'll never know. But yeah, hopefully that's a good learning that any future snipers will be able to take forward with them. The Extras are kind of happy though to kind of sit in their fortress of Europe that they've built here. Their little hive, their beehive of bunkers and mortars and healing, and it looks like, oh, this is probably actually a decent decision from Clone to bring on a howitzer when you've got your enemy kind of bunched up like this with a lot of really valuable units. Oh man, nice. Nailed a mortar right there with his first salvo. Can he get the officer? Can he get the officer? Oh, so close. I think it's going to get away. Yeah, good play. Now you have, instead of 3 mortars to deal with, you've got 2, which is great. Those things can be a nightmare on a map like this with lots of buildings to hide behind. I don't know why he built his howitzer this far forward though. And if so, I think it probably would have been better to get it behind a shot blocker. Maybe over here, maybe over here. Yeah, it's looking vulnerable. So I think it would have been ideal to do what kind of his allies have done with their triage, with their med tent, and just be a little more cautious. Yeah, that would probably be a good thing to do. Nice little push here from the allies. They're trying to get this other mortar out of the way, which I think is a good priority. You want to get these things gone. The longer the game goes on, the more they're just going to be able to terrorize you. This one, for example, from Razor has just been having a field day. It's already got 17 kills and it's only 13 minutes into the game. I think it might be the one he brought on at the start. But yeah, those mortars are definitely an issue. Razor's kind of probing around here with his Puma. Nice little move. Keep it busy. Keep your opponent from being able to kind of settle in. Keep them on their toes. Keep them having to divert resources. As you can see, there are multiple ATGs. I'm not sure what this ATG is doing, that have had to turn over to this side. And it's really just one Puma that's causing all of this distraction. That's locking away all of these resources and all of this attention, while the Axis continue to kind of cement their stranglehold on this critical sector of the map. Oh, this Puma's really going on a journey. Where is he going? Going for... ooh. Okay, this will be interesting. Nice also move from Razor to harass back here, and while his teammates are nicely coordinating to push from the front. Looks like the Storms want to take out this ATG. They almost got it. Is this pack moving up? Oh, this is great. So look at this. We've got Zostrum and Clone a little bit distracted over here, mostly Zostrum, while kind of feels like Flaky's on his own over here. And yeah, there we go. Clone's going to lose his first howitzer, and Clone's a pretty experienced player, so I'm not sure what his thinking was to build his howitzer out in the open like that. But you know, it pretty quickly came to bite him in the ass a little bit. So good learning, I think, for him and for those watching. Take the extra minute or 30 seconds to move your howitzer when you initially set it up somewhere that it'll be safe. Don't just pick a random spot in the open in plain view of the enemy, because while it might have seemed like, you know, you had a pretty decent front line when you built it, a lot can change. Games of OMG have pretty big swings of momentum, and you know, even having just built that thing here would have maybe saved it. Behind the building would have saved it. Behind this hedge would have saved it. And the Howie is something they're gonna really need in this game. So I think it's a huge blow that they've already lost it. Which, yeah, is not ideal. Meanwhile, yeah, if you're the Axis, you're probably feeling pretty good about your position right now. You've got units with tons of kills. There's 28 kills between these two right here. Let's switch over to Razor's point of view real quick. Where did that mortar go? Yeah, this mortar's got 18 kills. So the Allies have already lost well over 100, maybe even 150 or more units, and this game is not even 20 minutes old. So this is a costly one. Oh, does Flaky have a Howie too? Okay. Okay, so another howitzer Flaky. Hopefully he saw what happened to Clone, and he's going to, you know, say maybe, yeah, nice move. Build it down here. Build it back out of the way. That's a good call for sure. Keep it safe, because these mortars are just feasting. These two alone have 32 kills or more between them, and so you need that howitzer to get some serious work done. Yeah. The Axis have got to be feeling pretty good about their position, though. With that said, I think if the Allies were maybe a little bit more experienced players, or a little bit more creative, they might start to look at this nest of terror that the Axis have built in the middle with all their support weapons, with all their healing, with all their bunkers, and say to each other, hey guys, let's not just keep throwing men at this, you know, fiery inferno. Let's look to the flanks, where maybe the Axis don't have any kind of presence. Maybe we can do some coordinated pushes on one or both of these edges of the map and force the Axis to have to pull troops and support weapons out of the middle to address us. It can be really easy, I think, in games of OMG to get tunnel vision, especially when your opponent sets up a really nice little hive of villainy and scum. But don't get caught just thinking you have only one choice, and that's to throw troops and units at that formidable defense. Think about where the enemy must not be if they have so much in one location, and try to take the initiative that way. So Flaky, oh no, this is another howitzer? Okay, so Zostrum's on a howitzer too. I guess they are all infantry. And, oh man, did he build it on... He built his howitzer on red cover. It's like he saw what Clone did and decided he was going to one-up him. So not only is his howitzer in a wide open area with tons of places that a pack or a tank or even an infantry charge can come after it. It's raised the stakes even further by being on red cover. It's like these guys hate their howitzers. Why do you hate your howitzers, Zostrum? Why don't you want it to succeed? Why must you put it in harm's way? So, if last time we learned why you shouldn't build a howitzer in the wide open, something that I know Clone knows better than to do more often than not, Zostrum has kind of shown us how to not take any learning from that and to double down and maybe make it worse. So, really important. Next time you build your howitzer, whether you're Zostrum or anyone else, take care of it. Give it a chance to succeed. Believe in your howitzer and make it a nice little home. Give it somewhere safe that it can live. Anyway, Razor is really starting to build a stranglehold over the middle of the map, and it works quite nicely on this map. Forest is a map that is well suited to barbed wire, mines, bunkers, support weapons, because it's a little bit narrower. He's also getting, as we kind of have talked about already, some favors from the allies. The fact that, as far as the allies are concerned, this whole area is lava, and this whole area is lava, and it's not to be visited ever. That is definitely helping things. Oh, okay, nice job from that was this howitzer from Flaky, and kudos to Flaky for building his howitzer. Yes, it's in the open, but it is significantly further back than the others, and he's already picked off a mortar that was causing the Axis a huge amount of issues. Can he destroy the weapon though? That'll kind of be key. He's decrewed it, but now it looks like that howitzer barrage has ended. Meanwhile, over here we've got a sniper from Razor. Oh, and a sniper from Clone. Okay. Clone's got 5 kills on his sniper. Razor... Where did Razor's sniper go? It didn't die, did it? Oh, no. Okay. Oh. Alright, so what I think's probably happening here is Clone's been picking off the odd unit with his sniper, and Razor's called one on. But you probably have noticed that it has no kills, it's not firing. I think he's trying to bait clone troopers into revealing his sniper by shooting, so that he can pick it off with a counter snipe. And this is a great strategy. It's a smart way to counter an enemy sniper. It can be really tempting when you have your sniper on the field to just try and get as many kills as possible, but if you know the enemy has a sniper on, hold your fire. And he's even got an MG out here, he's got some infantry running around, probably as bait, but it seems like Clone knows something's up, because he's not firing at this MG. Yeah, he's kudos to Clone for having the restraint. I don't think, yeah, this sniper hasn't fired yet from Razor, so Clone kind of either he saw it at some point when it was decloaked, or he just has a feeling that something isn't right. And now Razor's bringing in some squads of infantry, some juicy targets. You know, how can Clone resist? Well, he's decided that things are just a little fishy. And it's like watching Enemy at the Gates, if you've ever seen that movie. Clone just senses there's some kind of trap here. And why would the enemy be parking an MG and all this valuable upgraded infantry near my sniper when it knows my sniper's in this area? Well, must be because they're trying to counter-snipe me. So kudos to Clone here. Razor, it seems, is also playing pretty cautious with his sniper, though, and for the moment he's going to pull back. He doesn't like the amount of artillery and probably mortars that are coming down in this area. He's going to fight another day. And so their delicate dance has come to a temporary standstill, and I guess he's going to probably reposition it over to this side of the map. Yeah. Is this Sherman trying to find him? No. Yeah. So, yeah, we got to see a little bit of a sniper duel. Obviously it wasn't super action-packed, but good play from both players to really play that cautiously. They both played it perfectly. No one made a mistake. No one got kind of carried away. Where's Clone Sniper? Okay, he's keeping his well back for the moment. Razor's got his up there. Snipers can be game-changing. For sure, so it's really, really important to get a whole lot of value out of them and to keep them safe. This bike rush on the Howie, I don't think that's going to do anything. I don't like the amount of support weapons that are kind of clustered up here. Also, likewise here, when you know the Allies have 2 howitzers on the map, you definitely don't... No. No. Okay, so it looks like another sniper has died to indirect fire, as well as an MG and a mortar. Man, I think that one had like 2 kills or 3 kills, and maybe 1. And Razor was being so careful with it. This whole kind of like cat and mouse game over here on the right. He held his fire. He was trying to get the counter snipe. He rightfully kind of was like, oh, you know what, it's been a while since the artillery fired. I'm going to pull back from the line with my sniper, move it somewhere safe. And he moved it next to a mortar, an MG, and a pack, I want to say. And man, we saw what happened. Meanwhile, surprise, surprise, this howitzer on red cover is not having a great time. Oh yeah, now Puma's coming in to cause even more trouble. But man, don't put your sniper next to things you know howitzers are gonna shoot. Flaky did it. Now Razor's done it. Oh man, it happens. Everyone's done it at one point or another. There's not one player in OMG who uses snipers regularly who hasn't lost a sniper to a random mortar or howitzer, or kept it near a really valuable target and paid the price. But it is avoidable more often than not. And in this case, it was totally avoidable. Yeah, it is what it is. With that said, though, I still like the Axis position a lot more than the Allies. The Allies are doing all their fighting almost outside their spawn. I mean, spawns are a bit different on this map. They're really close together. It's a narrow diagonal shaped map. So, you know, this area is not really that far from where the Allies are all coming onto the field, and it's been where the majority of this battle has taken place, because the Axis have just had a stranglehold on the middle here. And they've done a great job, for the most part, stacking up mortars, stacking up MGs, stacking up packs, and the Allies are just really struggling to break that. More stormtroopers coming in from Gobbo Slayer. They do not have Shreks. Probably are also running bundle nades. He might even have the elite armor doctrine ability that Blitzkrieg gets in OMG. You can unlock it to make your stormtroopers a lot more survivable. Yeah, so he might be running that. With that said, his company has got a lot of expensive units in it. Storms, mortars, that kind of thing. They're not cheap. But, man, it's really looking like the Allies are in trouble. This mortar's going to go down for sure. Sorry, this howitzer is going to go down for sure. They're probably going to lose their triage here. They have no front line. It's just chaos and disarray. And, ooh. Gobbo Slayer just got nebbled by his own teammate, Mr. Math. Which is not what you want. It suppressed all of his storms. Man, are they all going to die here? That bundle missed. That nade did good work from Zostrum. Thing is, elite armor storms are not a joke. And yeah, there's a lot of riflemen that have gone down. Good move from Gobbo Slayer to bring in this half-track to try and get his men out. Oh, a little bit unlucky there with the grenade that just happened. I don't even think the grenade was thrown at the half-track there. It just happened to destroy the engine. And that slowed down the half-track just enough to give the riflemen a chance to Shrek it. So, kind of a bunch of interesting things happened there. One, Gobbo Slayer got nebbled by his teammate Mr. Math. Zostrum rushed in a bunch of rifles, which, while he did lose a lot of them in the process, he caused a lot of damage to significantly more expensive infantry that have expensive bundle nade upgrades. But Gobbo Slayer managed to get some decent trades off using those bundles. Made a nice play to bring in his half-track to maybe evac his troops out of there. But got a little bit unlucky with a nade that damaged his engine, and unfortunately, one of his teammates or he himself gave up a Shrek to some riflemen, which ultimately came back to bite him in the ass. We've got the sniper from Clone is still on the field. It's not getting a crazy amount of kills, but it is alive. And given how hard, I would say, the Allies have kind of been getting hit throughout this game, especially by MGs, especially by support weapons, that sniper is going to be really, really key for Clone. He's going to have to be careful, though, because this P4 is coming in, and short of the rifles with Shreks, this ATG is kind of the only support that he has. He's lucky no bikes are coming right now. Actually, we really haven't seen any serious anti-sniper call-ins from the Axis other than that sniper from Razor so far, which I think Clone's been really lucky with, because, again, like, this sniper's all off by itself right now. Good work from Gobbo Slayer with these unupgraded storms. Unfortunately, he just got mortared by his teammate Razor. It feels like he can't catch a break here. He's got a company that's designed to be aggressive with half-tracks and storm squads, and every time he gets something going, he either gets nebbled or mortared by his teammates. And, well, he got his revenge because he's now blocked Mr. Maps before with his half-track. Was it on purpose? Was it by accident? Was it revenge? We'll never know. But yeah, I think the Axis are just feeling so gleeful about the kind of massive damage they're inflicting on the Allies that they're tripping over themselves to get kills. They're so eager to kind of cause damage and be the ones to kill allied units if they're maybe catching each other in a bit of a crossfire every now and then. But what can you do? But yeah, man, it feels like if I was told this game was one to check out, and it's been interesting, it's been entertaining, but it hasn't really felt that even. And I was a little worried when I saw the teams for this matchup. Mr. Math, Razor, Gobbo Slayer are all, very, very experienced OMG players, very solid players. And while Clone, Zostrum, and Flaky are not bad players by any means, I would say on paper this didn't look like the world's most even matchup. And to the Allies' credit, they have not folded like a house of cards. They are still fighting. They still have units that can win games if played right. They have been doing great work with their howitzers, but yeah, so far this has been a pretty brutal slugfest for the Allies, and the Axis are definitely trading better, getting a lot of value out of their units. I mean, everywhere you click, there's a unit that has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kills. This is maybe the mortar with the least kills we've seen on game. And the Allies, other than this sniper, you really haven't seen any individual squad really cause a lot of damage. And just when the Allies, chase off some storms or get lucky with a really good howitzer barrage, another wave of very scary things appears. And the Axis are not taking their foot off the pedal at all. There is no mercy for the Allies in this one that we've seen. Yeah, and just feels like slowly, inexorably, the Allies are just being grudgingly pushed back and back and back. And if this continues, they'll eventually be fighting down here. It's almost like this wall of doom, of support weapons, of infantry, of mortars, of tanks from the Axis is just constricting. Yeah, I mean, if only the Allies would make some use of these flanks. This is wide open territory. There's nothing wrong with it. Get some map control. Don't let the Axis funnel all of their strength into one narrow front with all their guns facing forward. If the Axis always know which way you're going to attack from, and always know that they only need to really point their weapons and their focus down, 1 or 2 or 3 lanes, then you're at a disadvantage. If they've had the upper hand up until now, then they're going to have a lot of infrastructure here, all ready to go. Nice little howitzer barrage. Hopefully they can destroy that mortar before it gets decrewed. So use all this other territory. Send units around behind. Force them to have to divert attention and resources out to the flanks. Force them maybe to even have to turn some of their support weapons so that your allies or other units that you might have can get something going in a different direction. Nice pick off on that Panther. I think a little bit reckless from the Axis to throw that away. I mean, yeah, the game's been going well, and it has no signs of suddenly turning against you. But I mean, a Panther's a big unit to just kind of haphazardly throw away. We might actually have another sniper duel coming up. Cologne's got his sniper here. He maybe knows that Gobbo Slayer has a sniper as well in the area. He is holding his fire. I mean, kudos to Cologne in this game. He's been cagey with this sniper. He has somehow always kind of sensed when things seemed a little fishy, and he's known to be cautious with his sniper at the right moments, which you got to give him credit for. Also, nice work crushing one of those KCH. Now he needs to get out of here. because that pack is definitely a problem. But even here, you can see Clone has an easy shot on that pack. It's down to 2 men, so 1 hit with a sniper will decrew it, and he's not taking the bait because he just can sense that, you know, in this case, Gobbo Slayer's sniper's too far back to actually get the counter snipe off. But Clone's playing it safe for the moment, which is definitely a smart move. But man, you look at the field and look what the Axis have on it. They've got a Sherman out here. Flaky's got a Sherman and a howitzer. That's it. Zostrum has got an engineer squad, a howitzer, and an ATG, and a rifle squad way up here. Good job from him to do some back capping. But that's it. And then from Clone, I mean, what has he got? He has just a sniper on. They can't be out for sure. It's only 39 minutes in, so I'm sure more units are coming. But by the same token, how has it been this long where they don't have anything on the field? It's only the fact that the Axis are being really patient and are happy to kind of sit in their, you know, smorgasbord of pack guns, ATGs, and artillery pieces. It's only that's making the Allies able to hold on with basically no units on the field. The Axis are content to just kind of sit back, get all their guns set up. By this point in the game, they've kind of pretty clearly established that the Allies are content to just attack from the same direction over and over again, which obviously plays into their company builds and their current compositions. I don't know if they need this many packs though. Most of the Allies have fielded what, like 1 tank at a time between the 3 of them, and so I think this is probably way too much AT for a battle for a different battle. I don't know if they're expecting Pershings or what, but yeah, I don't know if you need all these pack guns. But it is what it is. And yeah, okay, finally some infantry coming on from Flaky. Let's switch over to his view. Yeah, some infantry, some support weapons. I'm not sure what these engineers are going to do. Clone's got M10 and a pack and a sniper, but what are they pushing with? What is the plan here? Maybe a little push on this howitzer from the Panther, the Puma, and the Bike. I think maybe the Axis are getting a little bit restless. I mean, they're sitting here. They've set up a wonderful welcoming party for the Allies, and the Allies kind of haven't accepted the invitation. Oh man. This Panther is in danger. It's going to be really key. If the Allies have any path back in this game, this Panther needs to die. So far it's been really lucky with pens. Mine there from Clone. Nice. Nice. Good work from Clone there. I think the M10 probably took a little more damage than he would have liked with those penetrations, but great foresight to lay that mine there earlier in the game, laying mines along roads, and laying mines a little bit back behind halfway through the map on your side of the map is a good way to ensure that instead of, you know, just a regular Volksgrenadier squad or a regular rifle squad hitting your mine, a valuable tank hits your mine, and in that case, picking off another Panther from the Axis, I mean, again, like, is that going to turn the tide here? Probably not, but if the Allies have any path back, you need to make those chances to kill expensive units like that, make them count. I don't know if I've seen Clone Sniper in a while. Where is it? Did he lose it? Oh yeah, Clone must have lost his sniper. Maybe it was this Jeep. Maybe it was a mortar again. Razor's mortar doesn't have any kills. Could have been this Neville. But it had a good run. But its luck eventually ran out. And yeah, like it just feels like the Allies don't have really anything to push with. And you just look at the colors on the mini-map and you can see how densely packed this nest is that the Axis have built versus how haphazard and you know, disorganized the Allied force is. And yeah, it's hard to see any road back here. Looks like Gobbo Slayer kind of has figured out that Clone Sniper is dead, so he's being a little more liberal with it. Probably not as aggressive as he could be, but what's nice is that maybe reflects the fact that the Axis have realized that, yeah, we're clearly crushing the Allies. We have been almost all game, but we've also lost some expensive units on pushes that were maybe a bit overconfident. This howitzer is still alive. I think it's been decrewed a few times, so while it only has one kill here, I think it's actually generated a whole lot more for the Allies than that. I didn't notice this, but there's another howitzer, this time from Zostrum, built in an infinitely better space than it was last time. It's further back. It's not going to be nearly as easy for the Axis to come and pick this thing off. Yes, it's a little bit more in the open than I would like, but it's definitely much better than the disastrous placement that was that howitzer. But again, like, I just don't see how the Allies are going to crack this nut. 2 howitzers gives them something to work with, but there's still lots of mortars around. There's still just a shit ton of packs. Now they've got a sniper, and unless they've got a really powerful anti-sniper column, that's going to be a real hassle to deal with. Yeah, it's looking like they're going to need a miracle to break this, and I'm not sure how. It is a bit of a quieter period though in the game. I feel like the Allies maybe, you know, if we were able to listen in on their voice chat from when this game took place, maybe at this point they're frantically trying to come up with a plan. Unfortunately, that plan doesn't seem to include not attacking just the same spot over and over again. Yeah, it's almost like when the Allies attacked, what was it, Dieppe? I actually think it was British Army with a heavy contingent of Canadians, and when that became a disaster, they didn't go back the next day and try again, or the day after that, or a week later. I think they kind of learned that lesson in World War I, that that can be a disaster to just, you know, keep throwing men at a meat grinder. But I don't know if our Allied friends here were paying attention in World War I history class or in World War II history class about things like Dieppe. But yeah, maybe try somewhere else that isn't here. A little bit from who do we got over here on this flank? A little bit from Clone to isolate out what was it, some KCH out here, but it's not a whole lot that he's devoted to this side of the map. Ooh, this is pretty nice. Well, you might get the sniper here. Got the pack. Come on! Come on! Oh, turn the MG, Mr. Math. Oh, the sniper's toast. I think that was another Howie kill in the sniper. Although in that case, I think that sniper was probably doomed no matter what. But nice push. See, guys? See the advantages of trying different flanks. The Axis now have to pivot. Look, they're pivoting 2 packs over to the right-hand side now to deal with this. That's the most progress the Allies have made at diverting resources in a while. With that said, Flaky's kind of just letting his Sherman get chipped away at, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like Zostrum had much on the field to follow up with a push simultaneously from a different direction. And that could be virtue of what you're seeing here in the bottom left area. The Allies have not had a decent chunk of the map for a significant portion of this game, and you can only get away with that for so long before your pop starts to really take a hit. And so now, when the Axis players each have 40 pop to work with, so 120 total pop between the three of them, the Allies are down to just 90 to work with. And that means that not only have they probably lost a lot more by this point in the game, because, you know, they control so much less of the map, and that could only have come about by getting hammered, but they also can now bring on less, and so their effective fighting power at any given moment is going to be lower. And man, I think even if they had 50 pop each to work with to the Axis's 40, they would still struggle to crack this nut. And again, it could be inexperience. It could be that the Allied players are not as comfortable or familiar with how to break a defense like this. You know, yes, howitzers are good. Yes, snipers can be effective. Yes, mortars are sometimes useful. But when you encounter something like this and you've been hitting your head against a wall for a while, try something else. Try to use the flanks. Try to skirt the edges of the Axis stronghold. I'm gonna get a nade off here, maybe? Well, might not have nades on that guy. But yeah, just look at all the MGs the Axis have on the field. That's not easy to deal with, especially without a sniper. Ooh, nice howitzer shot. Who was that? Is that you? No, it was Zostrum. Another mortar down. That's a really good pick-off. And the Allies have actually done a pretty nice job. They had a shit ton of howitzers. They didn't always place them in the smartest locations, as we saw earlier, but they have been able to get a lot of value. I think we've seen 2 snipers go down to howitzers. We've seen a ton of mortars fall. Those units are pricey as all hell. They're really powerful. They're really effective, especially Axis mortars, but they're expensive, and so losing them hurts. With that said, I think the Allies are probably struggling with only having 30 pop. They are now at 31 though, so nice work from Flaky to try and claw back a little bit of territory. They have managed to reverse the bleeding temporarily, and so they're back on the positive growth side of the pop situation. With that said, it's going to take a while to get back up to 40, and the amount of pressure the Axis are putting on is significant. Yeah, I mean, look at all this stuff that's coming in here. The Allies don't really have a whole lot to defend against this. They've got 2 MGs here, but man, if you're the Axis right now, you're putting a lot of pressure on the Allies, and the Allies don't really seem to have anything that can answer it. A little bit more infantry coming in from Flaky now. Let's see what the situation is in terms of pop cap. Okay, the Allies are back to losing pop cap. Not super quickly, but they are losing. Looks like Flaky is going to try and keep quietly capping to maybe slow that down. But how much do they have left is the question. And do they have enough to push this back? Oh man, the Axis are really laying it on hard. Good placement of this MG. Good placement from this MG. Oh, this is potentially really good. The Axis have maybe overextended. Maybe they didn't think there'd be more reinforcements coming from the Allies. They have to be thinking at this point, like, we've been killing these guys pretty steadily. How much more could they possibly have? But the answer is they're not out of the woods yet. But yeah, these MGs are really causing trouble in both directions. An MG42 in a building at this stage, unless they've got grenades on these rifles, which it doesn't look like they do, is not an easy thing to deal with. Is Zostrum trying to shoot that house? That'd be smart. Kill that MG? Oh, I think he's trying to kill the pack. Oh yeah, that MG is in a vulnerable house. One good hit from an ATG could kill that whole squad. Looks like Mr. Math, who I just switched to, is actually running low on units. I mean, could it be done? Nice, there goes the MG in the house. Good play, Clone. Clone stepped in and saw what needed to happen. I just don't think the Allies have enough left. I mean, they have some rifles. With that said, though, it looks like most of what the Axis have are pack guns. And so even just 1 or 2 rifle squads right now is plenty to... Are they doing it? These 2 squads are definitely an issue from Razor. I mean, the fact that they're Shreks actually helps the Allies right now because, you know, they don't really have any vehicles. Clone here pointing out that probably the Axis didn't need to bring this much AT. And Gobbo Slayer's knocked out? Can they do it? Are dreams possible? Are we witnessing... Oh man, these 2 squads are going to be an issue though for the Allies. But, like, they've got an MG here. Got this rifle squad. They've got the howitzers. Some walking... Can it be done? The MG in the church is going to be a huge pain in the ass for them. But, no, could it be? Good work from Clone to keep that guy alive as long as he can. He's probably going to die here, though. Yeah, okay. Dropped a bar. Math should definitely be picking that up right now. You saw it drop, man. Go pick it up. Go pick it up. A Greyhound? Man, they still have stuff. I mean, the one risk right now is the Allies have been so low on pop cap for so long that is it possible the Axis thought the Allies were out and didn't realize that maybe the reason they weren't seeing a lot of units from the Allies was because their pop cap was limited. And so this is looking... Huh. Okay, so, man, the Allies have just enough. Even this Panther, I'm not even... There's an ATG here. Okay, if there's just one ATG... Oh, there's 2 ATGs. I don't know. Can a Panther deal with all of this infantry? And it doesn't look like a lot of infantry, but it kind of is. Yeah, like... Okay, this howitzer's probably going to go down to that pack. But by the same token... This is going to come right down to it. I don't know who wins this game. I mean, 5 minutes ago I would have told you the Axis are going to win it. Had been winning it the entire time. No, Razor, like it's not worth it. Oh man, this Panther's toast. Too aggressive. This is actually could be a really yeah, it's dead. This can be a really tricky time of the game because you, especially if you're the Axis, you've been hammering them. He's gone. No way. Guys, are we witnessing a miracle right now? The Allies have been getting hammered all game long. The Axis were just relentless in punishing them with KCH, with mortars, with LMGs, with even a little bit of sniper work, and tons of MGs. and I think they've done it. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. I don't think anyone of us would have 30 minutes into this game, 40 minutes into this game, 10 minutes into this game, put money on the Allies coming out on top here. And actually, to be perfectly honest, I don't think anyone before this game even started would have looked at the teams and said, yeah, the Allies are going to emerge victorious here. They still have more! Flaky, where have these guys been? Wow, the Allies are so easy. I don't think it was that easy. What have these guys been doing all this time? Just kind of chilling out? What a game, though. Man, holy shit, what a comeback for the Allies. With scraps, you know, they have almost nothing, really, but it was enough. And I actually think it might have been that for so much of this game, the Axis were just massacring the Allies, that they probably thought there's no way these guys have much left. So let's just get in there and get kills and just kind of hammer them back into the ocean. And that maybe led to some pushes, some attacks with like the Panther that was over here and died on this mine, to the storms that got nebbled, you know, by Mr. Maff, to the big infantry push that we saw just about 10 minutes ago from the Axis that got covered in MG fire from multiple directions. Just maybe being a little bit more hesitant to throw away their units because the game had been going so well might have been the difference here. I think that the Axis should have won this game, but maybe they just got a little overconfident. Because, I mean, you look at what the Allies have left. It's from Zostrum, what do we got? We've got 3 men in a rifleman squad here. We've got basically that's it. What do we have from Clone? Not a whole lot. The colors don't change anymore because the game is actually over. But we've got the 1-man ranger squad with a bar. And kind of think that might be all she wrote. Yeah. Man. Huh. Alright, well played. I mean, quite frankly, it was well played by the Axis for sure. I think for almost the entire game they had the clear upper hand and were really laying a smackdown on the Allies. But kudos to the Allied team for not giving up, for staying patient. Probably could have been a little more creative in terms of you know, playing a little more innovatively, playing the flanks, not falling into the Axis's hands so often. But to their credit, they stayed the course. Flaky did some great capping along the flanks in the late game to get them some map gain and some pop control going, which I think ultimately proved pretty critical. And they all were running enough infantry apparently to survive getting slapped in the face over and over again. So there's something to be said for that. But yeah, this was a really interesting one, and at times a really funny one. So it was nice to see some different players we haven't seen in any of the other showcasts, some different tactics we haven't seen, some mistakes that I think we all can learn from, some unfortunate disasters that I think we all can learn from, like what happened to Razor Sniper, and wow, this was definitely a fun one. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please, if you haven't already, I mean, you probably have if you're watching to the end, but if you haven't checked out Operation Market Garden, you should. OMGmod.com. If you like Company of Heroes, if you like these shoutcasts, if you see the type of gameplay that we've been covering, and it looks like something that might appeal to you, definitely come check it out. And maybe, you know, next time your name will be one of the players that appears in a shoutcast. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.